Listener supported, volunteer powered. We are KPOV Bend, Oregon. And this is Merle Evers.
The views and opinions expressed during the following show are solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect that of KPOV or High Desert Community Radio.
She's a real woman with a real life. She's someone you can relate to. Open Air with Dawn Newton.
When you've got nowhere to go and your mind is drawing blanks, you will find me along the way to remind you we're the same. No, you're not alone. When you're fighting who you are.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Open Air. I am your host, Dawn Newton, and you're listening to 889 KPOV, your High Desert Community Radio, where we are streaming live online 24 hours a day at kpov.org. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. KPOV Band, you can find me there as well. Dawn Newton. Coming up on today's show, special guest. It's International Women's Day, so we're going to be honoring a very powerhouse woman here, and not only helps out here at KPOV as a staff member, but also is a huge member of the community, brings all kinds of love and light to everyone with her incredible voice. You may know her as Stacie Lynn Johnson. We know her as Stacie Dread from Broken Down Guitars. She's going to be in here for the next 55 minutes or so performing for us and talking about what it's like to be a female musician in Bend, aspirations. What did she do during COVID? What do these performers do when we're on lockdown? How do we stay connected? Because we knew that was a big challenge. But so stay tuned. We'll take a quick break. We come back. Stacie's going to join us. We're going to talk all things music. We were calling it earlier. I think it's just going to be an insanely Stacie hour. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Open Air with Dawn Newton on 88.9 KPOV High Desert Community Radio.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Open Air. I am your host, Dawn Newton. Joining me in studio, Stacie Dread, as we like to call her, is here. I said, we need to bring you on air. I want to hear you sing. You're just getting back out in the community, and we've missed you, Stacie.
I'm very excited to be here chatting with you, getting to know a new sister friend. I mean, we've known each other for years, but it's not every day. I get to sit down and
we've
hang
sat
out
across from each other.
So this is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've listened and come and watched you perform. My husband, my son, everybody. When McMinimans, oh my gosh, all over town. We were up at Northwest Crossing this last weekend before.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've always been a huge fan. Your soulful voice. I mean, I don't know if you like it. I compare you, she's like a Janis Joplin. She's just like Anne Hart. She's just got this powerhouse voice.
A little bit of the grit, huh?
Oh my God, it's awesome.
Well, I was a cigarette smoker for 10 years, Got to have a little bit. Even Rihanna, I heard, smokes a little bit of a cigarette before she goes on stage just to roughen it up. It's desired. Yeah.
Well, when you hear that voice like yours, you always think, I bet they can sing.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of a projection going on. Like they're already a loud person. They probably can just belt it out. Well, that really does speak to just my history on stage. I've been a performer my entire life.
I was doing a little research on you. And you were raised in Portland?
Yes.
And then it wasn't until you were 15. I mean, you performed in musical theater.
Yes.
And then it wasn't until if I'm reading this correctly, because I have my glasses on, that you did, your first live performance was just you and your guitar was in 2006 while you were studying abroad in Argentina.
Oh my gosh, you found all this good information on me.
This is what we do here on Open Air.
And I forget about that moment. Being abroad you kind of get into that tourist mind. You're like, oh, I can do anything.
I can be whoever I want.
I can be loud. I can be whatever. And I think it was a comfortable place for me to have a first live performance. And I was actually propositioned to do that by some friends that I had made down there. Of course, I met some people who were in a band, and they invited me over to their studio space. And I was just like a 21-year-old girl, like abroad in Argentina. And they're like, you want to come jam with us and sing? And so I did that. And then they asked me to open for them at their next gig. And yeah, I can't believe that was over 15 years ago now. But honestly, that was a huge moment for me, and I knew that I was unlocking something big.
What took you to Argentina to begin with?
I was in a study abroad program just to Spanish immersion, language immersion. Yeah.
So did you always sing growing up? And did you always play instruments? And when did you realize, I can do something with this?
Yeah. So I think like my mom says that I was singing before I could even speak words or whatever. So I think it was just in me. My aunt is a world traveling pianist. She has been a huge inspiration for me. My father's sister, my Aunt Gail Smith, she has always been just this like powerhouse female to look up to. So I always knew that as a girl, as a woman, whatever, that like it was possible. Because she was there doing that, traveling, playing her piano, giving workshops, and she made all of her money doing that, and still does. She's 75 years old and still does that, has that passion for music, and she's a music teacher too. So I think there was just like, I had the role model. And that's totally something that I, really comes into play when you have like a guide, like somebody to kind of guide you along. She would send me her CDs and I would listen to them, and I just thought they were so amazing, and like then I sent her my CDs 20 years later. So it's really come full circle. But I had her to look up to, and then I had really strong musical programs in my schools growing up.
That's amazing. Have you and your aunt done any duets?
Just live stuff when we see each other. Yeah, she lives in Florida, so it's we don't see each other very often. But you
need a family reunion. And invite me, please, because I think that'd be a party.
Yeah. I think that would be the kind of concert that would be like. It would be amazing if her and I could play together and just like play her music and play my music. She's written songs about like my family members and stuff. So. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's like legendary stuff that will live on forever and ever.
I think you're right, though. I think there's something in the DNA, that says, okay, get out, perform. Don't be afraid. No fear, go be stupid on stage and let people enjoy it. That's what you have to do when you're a performer.
That's pretty, and there's so many things to that. What you just said is like, what gets in our way of doing that and being seen and getting out there and just, if we were 5, we wouldn't care. But when we become adults, we get a little cynical, a little tainted, a little whatever.
Yes.
And
we care so much about what other people are thinking about us. And I started doing musical theater in middle school. My choir teacher was the one who put together all the musicals, and he really liked me, and he was so supportive, and so he totally got me into that, and it was kind of like balls to the wall since then.
Do you remember the first song you sang where everyone went, "Oh my gosh"?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I have the recording of me as like a 7-year-old doing that. It's special stuff.
Did you hit the high notes and all of that?
I mean, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But just like, my parents, parents of other kids, just that I had the goal to do that,
Did you experience any bullying growing up with your talent?
I did experience some bullying, and I don't know if it was because of talents or what, but I was actually kind of a tomboy growing up. I have 2 older brothers. I know lots of wrestling
moves. I'm right there
moves.
with you.
I learned how to spit and punch really good, really young. So I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that, actually. So, you kind of embrace that a little bit. And I did. And I wanted to be like my older brothers. So I was like tomboy. Like, I played tackle football. I played tackle football in 7th grade in middle school. And I would be in the locker room, actually getting my football gear on and putting my pads on and squeezing my knee pads into my pants and getting everything adjusted while the volleyball players were all in there as a team, also getting ready for their volleyball practice. And the volleyball girls picked on me a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a lot. And so I don't know what that was, I just figured it was probably discomfort because I was doing something that made them super uncomfortable, being a girl going and playing football and being so confident also.
You're just doing what you wanted to do. It wasn't. Yeah, I was the tackle dummy for my brothers, or the wrestle dummy. I was the one that was, but it's all good.
It is all good.
It's all fine.
Because you have skills, if not only just to stay in a position for an extra second or two without crying. That is a skill right there.
Well, and it did, you build, when you say build character, I mean, to stand up for yourself, to have a voice, all of those things when you have older brothers. You got to, because they like to make you their tackle dummy, but also when you start growing up, they want you to not grow up. And they become extra protective, and they can cause some havoc there too. But we worked through all that.
Yeah, there's still those older brothers, man. They still have some of that, that protective state. Oh, what, who said what? It's like, geez, okay, I'm like an adult. I can take care of my problems myself. But, very thankful for them because I think that they're, I was also an outgoing, talented young girl who had lots of suitors and boyfriends, and I had tons of, I always had a boyfriend growing up. From one boyfriend to the next, whatever. I just, for some reason, I'm a Libra rising, and so I love one-on-one. I love relationships, You
love love.
Yeah.
Do you play other instruments other than the guitar?
I do. I play the flute. I play the hand drum, and I also play the keyboard.
Crazy.
And the keyboard, piano. Yeah.
Self-taught, or did you take lessons?
I would say that the guitar is my top instrument as far as my ability on the others, but I can follow along with the band pretty good with the others.
And I just saw you, not this last weekend, but the weekend before, up at Northwest Crossing, and that was pretty amazing. It was just... Yeah, you're pretty talented. So this is me plugging Stacie. If you hear she's out and about, you need to just go.
We have another show at Waypoint, Northwest Crossing, which is where you saw us.
Yep.
The day after St. Patrick's Day, we are performing on Saturday evening there again. So 6:30 to 8:30. And it's a kind of a different venue just because it's like a little upscale, So it's fun because I get to put on some makeup and have a good time with my boyfriend who I do the duet with.
It's amazing.
Mystic.
What did you do during COVID with music? I know, talked with other musicians, even just businesses, just people in general, what that was like.
Yeah.
Especially as a musician.
God, it's so hard to even think back because
we don't want to.
In some way, we're like blacking that all out, right? Not a lot. Did not do a lot with music during COVID. I wanted so badly to turn that time into I'm going to record an album and come out with it afterward. But that wasn't my MO. I actually took on a whole other artistic baby during the pandemic, which was astrology. So my guitar did not go into my hands for a long time. And I took a kind of a rest from music and from the guitar, just energetically was not ending up in my arms, needed a rest. So during the pandemic, I would say that it was almost like an opportunity for me to give music a rest. Does that sound bad?
No, I think it all happens for a reason. I firmly believe in that. COVID did a lot of things for people. There's the tragedies of people that lost family members and what happened, but also it gave people an opportunity to pivot. And some people embraced it and some people resisted it. It kind of provided us an opportunity to figure out what really is important and explore other sides of ourselves. It just, I think we're all COVID exhausted for sure. We're kind of burned out.
Yeah.
But not to say it's still not out there. I mean, it's still there and you still get COVID. I think it's lessening the effects, hopefully.
But no, I mean, the pandemic had huge effects on the music industry and live performance, and not just live music, but theater and live theater. And I mean, Broadway in New York was like totally shut down, just like lights out. A lot of actors were depressed. I mean, really, really depressed, not knowing what their future was going to be.
Huge. Well, and speaking of astrology, let's do a little plug, because you do a show here at KPOV, Cosmic Community.
Yeah, I do.
Astrology.
Yes. Really happy to have had the confidence finally to have my own show here on KPOV. Of course, I've been doing the Monday night co-hosting with Tristone on the High Desert Co-op for like over 10 years now.
You're deeply entrenched here, Stacie. We've got you anchored down.
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And so the Cosmic Community is a really amazing, different artistic outlet for me. It is artistic in the way that, because you do your shows, you produce your shows, and the way you speak and the way you word things, and all of that becomes, it just becomes everything. And so the little bit different artistic expression that I get through the astrology show has been really amazing for me. Like it's given me an outlet to be an artist outside of the music, where it can be, like I said, like a little exhausting, like playing all the time, different gigs, giving yourself, as an artist, you're just always giving of yourself,
When you picked up the guitar, as we're coming out of COVID, whatever time that was for you, when you decided to pick up the guitar, did you miss it? Were you questioning whether or not you wanted to keep going? What was that feeling like? I just have to give so many props to my boyfriend for being so patient with me. Like, he's like, do you want to jam out? You want to play some music? I'm like, no, definitely not. That's not what I want to do. And he's just like, okay, whatever, And I know this must sound so strange to people, but this is what you get when you get a in-depth talk, a conversation, with somebody, you really get to hear what happened. And I mean, that's literally what happened. But that first time when we picked up the guitar and had that gig booked, it felt so good. It was like just back on the bicycle. It felt so good. It was like the adrenaline was going again for the stage performance, which holds a much different energy than like doing my radio program weekly. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So will you sing for us now? Yeah, totally. I think this is a good segue. Set up, yeah. What are we going to hear? I'm going to do a song called 26 at 95. It is a song I've been performing forever. It's on one of those albums right there. It is. Gave you two freshy albums. You did. Oh my gosh. Everything You Need from the Broken Down Guitars. That's the album. You've got, how many albums do you have out? There's 2 Broken Down Guitars albums. Okay. That was the band I was in forever. We did our farewell show actually in 2020 up at Elk Lake. And split up as a band. That was another thing that happened during COVID that sort of propelled the future of my music. And the groups of people just sometimes need a rest, right? So now it's just Stacie Dread. Yeah, now it's Stacie Dread, and I still do this song, 26 at 95. Perfect. And here it is. Where behind nothing good in my mind. Oh, I've got a few friends there. They tell me lines I don't write. Oh, my eyes can feel so dry after all has passed me by. But you gotta keep asking me why, like I have the time, like I have the time.
jeans, teasing her thighs. But don't you gotta be moving on, passing by. Leave me here with all of my dreams. Take yours, I don't mind. Take yours, I don't mind. Oh, take yours, I don't mind. No, take yours, I don't mind. 26 at 95, sat on my bumper and cried. I broke down hate, dripping my life. I just wanna be somebody's wife. I just wanna be somebody's wife. There's no way I'm going back, not by the scruff of my neck. Why'd you go on and tell me that goodbye? Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. 26 at 95, sat on my bumper and cried, broke down hate, dripping my life. I just wanna be somebody's wife. Oh, I just wanna be somebody's wife. Like I have the time, like I have the time to be. Oh, somebody's to be, somebody's goodbye, 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 goodbye. But hello, Central Oregon.
Nice job. I wish I had an applause sound effect here.
The applause meter goes crazy.
That's amazing, Stacie. Okay, she's gonna play another song later in the hour. We're gonna take a really quick break and come back more with Stacie Dredd. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
KPOV is supported in part by Hayden Homes Amphitheater, presenting Bon Iver on Saturday, August 12th. Bon Iver brings her indie rock sounds to Hayden Homes Amphitheater on Saturday, August 12th. Tickets are on sale now at benconcerts.com.
Hi, everybody, wherever you may be. This is Bill Shanley, and you're listening to Dawn Newton, Rip City, baby.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Open Air. I am your host, Dawn Newton. In the studio with me is Stacie Dredd, also known as Stacie Lynn Johnson, is also radio host, staff member at KPOV. What did I write? I wanted to, because this sums you up. I mean, singer, songwriter, the soulful voice, just the talent that it's pretty amazing. I'm a huge fan, if you can't tell.
I'm so grateful because the thing that you really want as a performer is for people to enjoy what you do. So
do you ever teach?
I have done a little bit of teaching. I've done a little bit of teaching guitar, a little bit of teaching just kind of beginners, vocal lessons and stuff. I did a little bit with string theory. Another thing that closed during the pandemic, but that was one of our really super local, music lesson spot. Joe Schulte ran that place really well, and he got me on the crew for a while because people wanted to learn from a woman. Young girls that would come in, they wanted to have a rock star girl to look up to, you know? So he's like, hey, do you want to do this? I had no experience doing it. Had a really great time. I don't do that anymore, but I would if somebody really wanted me to teach.
Well, and that's a perfect segue. Is one of my questions or talking points I wanted to ask you about is the difference between, or what you've experienced between male versus female in the music industry. And not to bash on males or any of that, but just what you've experienced, how that's different.
Well, I've only ever been a woman in the music industry, so I really can only speak from, you know, what I've done and what I've seen. And so, you know, there's a lot of, I think, pressure to as a woman performer to be sexy and to, you know, wear clothes, certain outfits and stuff out on Saturday nights to your gigs. I could be totally off on all of this, but for me, I feel like there was a little bit of pressure that I've grown out of a little bit. Like when I first kind of started, it was all about that, you know, making sure that I was showing a little cleavage and, you know, had a skirt on that I could flip around in, you know, and I got a lot of feedback about that. Oh, I just love your stage presence, the way you dance with your guitar on stage, you know, all this stuff, like really, really, you know, which I'm a dancer too. I you know, did musical theater. And so I move when I sing and I move when I perform. So there is like going to be a part of that, you know, but like, yeah, when you're playing out late night and you got like the dudes in the bar, you know, and it's 1 a.m. and everybody's pretty sloshy, you know, get some weird things said to you. And everybody wants to have a conversation with the musician that's just come off the stage, for sure. So I've had a lot of conversations, and, you know, I just think that everybody is literally doing the best they can with what they have. And, you know, just the fact that like anybody I've affected, you know, to come up and want to start a conversation, I think that's really powerful.
Was it difficult, or has it ever been difficult booking gigs, booking performances as a female?
I don't know. I never booked any of the gigs for the band. I put that on another band member.
You were the boss and you delegated. Good girl.
You know, you gotta get good at being the boss if you're going to be the girl boss. And I was the leader of the band. So I kind of had the final call on everything. Whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But AJ, oh my God. Bless AJ's heart. Oh my God. Him and I were just so tight, besties, friends, and then also had the dream of having this band, and we wanted it to go all the way. I mean, you know, that was the attitude when we started the band when I was 25. We wanted it to go all the way. And so it was like, all right, well, let's split up responsibilities. Like, I want to focus on being the stage performer and working on my stage show, and focusing all my energy on that can like somebody else do all the booking. So now I communicate with people like the Waypoint folks. You know, they have my phone number. So I'm a big girl now, and I book big girl shows all on my own. And I'm so thankful for the old school venues that are still calling and wanting the music.
So what is the goal now? Like going forward, are you still wanting the big show? Go big? That's
a really good question. You know, I feel like a lot of the I feel like the pandemic definitely put a little bit of, like, it put that priority pressure on people, as you were talking about. Like, what's your priority? What are you going to focus your energy on? Because you might die tomorrow of COVID, so you got to like focus this in now. So yeah, I mean, the gigs kind of got fewer and further between as Bend also has grown. And there are more musicians in Bend than ever. And there's more competition for gigs than ever. But I always said that what really gets you to make it in the music industry is just being there consistently. Just longevity, you know, people being able to, you have the same phone number, you live in the same town, you still got a good set of music, people can depend on that.
You're consistent.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
We used to even show up on time for our gigs. We were like one of those weird bands.
A work ethic, imagine that.
It was very strange. They would look at us like, why are you guys here so early? To set up? That's so responsible.
Oh my gosh. When you were, or have you ever done the competition shows, America's Got Talent, American Idol, The Voice, any of those things? Have you ventured in that direction?
I did. I auditioned for The Voice one time, and it was an amazing experience and a terrifying experience all in one. I actually booked a flight down there kind of last second. It was right after my dad died. So I was definitely feeling like I needed to, push myself. And so I went down there. I did an audition for The Voice. And I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was probably like 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. And I went into this giant auditorium with like thousands of other people who were auditioning for the show. After waiting in line outside of the convention center all morning for like 3 hours, probably more than that, actually. You wait in this really long line, and then you walk in this really long line into the auditorium, and you all sit in this auditorium, and they give you your big intro, and then you wait for like many more hours for your turn to go into your audition. I went into an audition room with 9 other, all girls. There was no boys in my group. 9 other girls. There was 10 of us, and we each got 30 seconds to perform whatever we were going to perform to win the affection of the one person who was there. And it wasn't like Katy Perry or anybody cool. It was like just a random, industry person. And so, nobody from our room made it. They said, nobody here made it, so you guys are welcome to leave. And then we all walked out and filed out and down to the parking area or wherever. And that was my whole experience auditioning for The Voice. I made a couple of funny little friends in line and had a really good time with everybody, because you can imagine how many cool people were in that line.
Would you do it again? Maybe not The Voice, but would you?
If it came to Bend or Portland, yeah. But I don't think I would fly to go do it again.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot just to go do, I'm not really a huge flyer. I love to travel. I love to do stuff, but I love traveling by car mostly. So that limits me a little bit in the fact that I'm not really willing to just hop out and go do a lot of stuff like that, just myself.
So are you a solo performer now?
Yeah, I'll play solo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I will play solo. I do a lot of shows solo. Pre-pandemic, I was really in a really good swing of it. One whole summer, I just played solo shows all summer. Schlepped all my own gear and everything, and I love doing that. After being in the band with people, which I loved, it's just a lot of work working with a lot of other people and scheduling everybody's lives and getting everybody to rehearsal and to the gigs on time to help carry in the gear and all this stuff. So being alone, there was none of that extra pressure. It was just all me. Since I knew how to do everything already, it was kind of nice to be able to just be on my own and play whatever songs I wanted to on my set list.
Is I know you do quite a bit. My mic isn't working.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, nope, there we go. I know you do a lot of cover songs, and you do an amazing job. You just put your own spin on them, but you also do your own songs that you've written. Talk about that process when you're writing songs, because usually you hear about, I'm coming out with a new CD or album, and it represents this is what I was going through, this what these songs represent. Is that the same for you, or how do you?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we came on air, and I was telling you that I'm a super sensitive person, and I think that that's part of my artistry, realizing the impacts you have on people and the impacts that people have on you. That's part of being an artist on stage. You have to interact with your audience. So to some degree, there has to be some of that there. And so, yeah, being a super sensitive person and being out in everybody's energy all the time is sometimes challenging. Sorry, I kind of got a little off track. Can you re-ask the actual question, though, that you were asking?
Just writing your own songs, and what inspires at that point.
Yeah.
can you just be in the moment and things start coming to you, or do you need to be solid? Do you need solitude like a writer does? I just need to go in my treehouse, leave me alone, and let me write my book type of thing.
God, I think that's just part of harnessing what you have is realizing what you need to do it for sure. I'm a sensitive, emotional person. And so I write songs when I am under the influence of emotions. I've realized that about myself. I write songs really pretty quickly sometimes. Like they just it's like a flash, right? And it's just like it all comes out in like 10 or 15 minutes. So I kind of describe it as like the artistic train is like a coming down the track. Whoop, whoop. And I can like hear it coming. I can feel the vibration. I can feel it inside me and I can feel it approaching. And it's like, get to the keyboard, get a pen, get a piece of paper. It's like gonna come out. And so I would say that most of my songs I've written in that way.
Yeah, I can imagine being empathic and being a sensitive person. And by that, just the energies that you're around, when we get and how that does impact, whether it's a positive energy, some of a more maybe not so positive energies that we all seem to be experiencing lately too.
Like, breakup songs. I mean, there's more of them than any other type of song. And like there's a reason for that, right? Because like that's a really strong place to be in. And like we need an outlet for those emotions and those feelings. And like for those special people that can like write music to express that, we get to enjoy that, that's a benefit for us. But, for that person in that moment, that might be like a challenging moment. They're dealing with stuff. They're going through something, and so as we're out and we're enjoying people's music, it's always good to remember that they're just human and they also go through things too, like performers are not just like these superhero people, they're just humans too, celebrities, whatever. Their songs are about normal everyday things that you and I also experience.
Absolutely. And we seem to forget that sometimes, that that isn't a human up there performing. That's somebody performing that we disconnect from that.
Except for the reptilians. Those are definitely not human. So watch out for those. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Their eyes twitch in that weird way. Run the tape back,
That's the thing about the music and band is it is just such a nice escape, and it's such a beautiful setting, and we have so much talent on that. Your aunt, as you said earlier, is an inspiration. Who else were your inspirations?
I was really, truly inspired by a lot of the early 90s, late 80s divas. Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I mean, these like powerhouses of that time. I kind of grew up just listening to pop radio, and whatever, and watching regular old TV like any other American, and so I kind of grew up on mainstream stuff, mainstream music. I don't have like these incredible hippie parents. I mean, my parents are amazing. But I definitely don't have this experience of, I grew up like listening to this, like all this, like, and like my parents would replay these like albums and stuff. I listened to pop music radio.
I'm thinking
up.
Donna Summer, Shaka Khan. I could see just the
so
voices.
Tell me something good.
Those are the voices that come to mind that I see you in that arena.
But then I started smoking weed when I turned 18 and I started listening to totally different music. I went into more of like a classic rock phase at that point, which I had never gotten into, and that's when I found Janis Joplin, Stevie Nicks, Bonnie Raitt, just some other types of non-mainstream,
Have you met any of these people?
I wish.
Have you had any opportunities?
In dreams, in other lives, I'm sure, right? I mean, we're all like so connected anyways. Like we see things in other people and it inspires us because we have that same thing inside of us.
Will you play another song for us?
I would love to. You mentioned how you liked my covers. So can I do a cover?
Absolutely.
On the radio? It's okay, right?
It's
I don't have to like pay
do.
anybody or anything.
No, it's my show. You can do what you want.
Okay. So I'm gonna play White Rabbit.
Awesome. It's I just love Stacie. I mean, just everything that you do here at the station, just your presence, the shows. Tristan, we haven't seen Tristan in the station for I don't know how long. Need to bring him back in.
The pandemic stole him.
So we're gonna play White Rabbit, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, here
so this
we go.
is an old Jefferson Airplane tune.
Stacie Dread.
A little grace slick in your life. Restart. One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. And the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she was 10 feet tall. And if you go chasing rabbits and you know you're going to fall, tell them a hookah smoking caterpillar has given you the call. Her call, Alice, when she was just small. Yeah. When the men on the chessboard get up and tell you where to go, and you've just had some kind of mushroom and your mind is moving low, call Alice. I think she'll know when logic and proportion have fallen, so be dead, and the white knight is talking backwards and the red queen is off with her head. Remember what the Dormouse said. Fear ahead, fear ahead.
That was awesome. You didn't hold back on that one.
Did not hold back on that one.
No, you did. She did hold back. We're just going to tell on ourselves a little bit on the first one, but this one I know she didn't. Couple things. One thing, I've gotten a couple texts. Dawn, turn your mic on. Just so you know, it has been on. It's just been malfunctioning for whatever reason. So when I kind of tap it or smack it, it comes back to life. So, do you ever forget the words to your songs? Does that ever happen?
Dawn, never forget any of the words. They all mean so much to me, just on accident.
Like, how many songs? Like, if you were to say, what's your book of songs? How many? I mean,
I could probably put like 50
hundreds.
songs on that list, like ones that I can play comfortably and remember everything to. But it's just kind of like studying for a test too sometimes. Yeah. Especially when you're learning a new cover, it's like you study up for the test and then, maybe a couple weeks after the test, you try and retake it and it's not all there, but that's what rehearsal is for.
Have you sung any national anthems at any events? Have you had that experience?
I have grown up doing that. Yes. I was one of the go-to they would call me to do like the football games or the wrestling meets in high school. Because I was one of the girls, that stuck myself out there. I was, at the school, I was known for being the singer and a performer and stuff. So, yeah, and Mystic, my boyfriend Aaron, really wants me to get out, like do one at the basketball games for like Mountain View High School or something. He's doing the announcing for them, and my stepson's there, his son is there. So, anyways, yeah, that might still happen. Actually, I did one at the Bend Elks.
I was just gonna say,
Tristan got me when he was still doing the announcing there. That was maybe 6-7 years ago. Yeah, so that was the last time I did it. It was at Bend Elks Stadium. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So if somebody is wanting to, a young lady out there is wanting to get into the music business, if they're wanting to do what Stacie Dread does, what is your advice? And maybe if they're a minor, maybe the advice for their parents too?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? I actually, my niece, she's 7 years old, and she's been watching me perform, and now she wants to be a performer. So I have one of these people in my life that I'm guiding, and she actually came up and sang a little song with us at our Northwest Crossing gig just a couple weeks ago, and it was her first time being on stage, just doing it, and she was nervous, but she was happy that I was going to be there, making her comfortable. So I think that my advice is just very pure and probably pretty cliche. And that's to just do it and to just get out there and be confident. And I know that probably, like I said, sounds totally cliche, but nobody will ever be you. You are unique no matter how many people are on this planet and how many more people there are left to live on this planet. Nobody will ever have the unique mix of life that you do, and nobody will ever be Stacie Dread again, so I get to enjoy being Stacie Dread. So I would say enjoy find joy in it, make yourself happy doing what you're doing, because if you're not happy, then well, you just made a good point when you said there's not another Stacie Dread out there. So staying authentic, not trying to be the next, Taylor Swift. I'm trying to think of all the names out there. Don't try to be, there's already a Taylor Swift. Just be you. And I think that's something that even as adults, I've had conversations throughout my show time here about, being your authentic self, being true to yourself. And it's what does that even mean? I know.
Who am I? When will I ever figure out who I am? But there is something is where you're who you are when you go on stage.
It's being unapologetically you. And that was something that, I think you had in your interview with Jayla last week or week before that. That's what it's about, right? Just putting yourself out there and being unapologetically you. And for some reason, that phrase has just been kind of repeating itself in my head since I heard that. And so...
And your family and friends, off the stage or off whatever that platform happens to be, they love you for who you are. Not who they think. Even
when I don't love me for who I am, they still love me for who I are, and I'm so thankful for that. Because we can feel lost sometimes, and keep your friends tight, keep your friends close to you, and don't ever kick anybody out of the band because you have some big dream about something and whatever, because friendship means more than fame. And so, yeah.
That's some wise words right there.
I could just keep it coming. I can just keep going. Sounds like we got another 55 minutes to fill, Dawn, for another time.
So, where are you playing at again? Tell everybody.
There is a space in the Northwest Crossing called Waypoint, and it's inside of the Grove, which is an inside food cafeteria court, although that makes it sound, it's actually really
a very cool
nice
space.
Yeah. And then the bar inside there is called Waypoint, and that's where we will be performing Saturday, March 18th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Oh, what a perfect day. It's my birthday. And if we want to find your music, where do we go?
Yeah, that is, you can connect with me on Facebook, Stacie Lynn Johnson. I'm Stacie. But you can find all the Broken Down Guitars music on Spotify, Amazon MP3, and YouTube, just kind of the classic places.
And here at KPOV too. We're gonna keep her active. I'm gonna keep her active. Well, Stacie, thank you for joining me. It's been a long time coming.
This went by so fast.
It did go by fast.